It's good to have things in your garden that come up every year. Saves you a bit of labour rather than it always being spring bedding, summer bedding and making the changes. Of all the perennials that grow in my garden, I think the daylily, Hemerocalis, is one I value as much as any other. Called daylily because the trumpet flowers that flare out individually only last a day, but the plant keeps producing them right from midsummer on until autumn. They come in shades of white, yellow, orange and red. A gorgeous beefy plant that likes soil which isn't too dry, but to be honest, they really are accommodating. A little bit of shade will suit it, full sun will suit it. Make sure you grow Hemerocalis in your borders. They're brilliant. A lady called Ellen Wilmot, famous Victorian gardener, used to go round gardens of her friends and scatter the seeds of Eryngium giganteum, which became known as Miss Wilmot's ghosts because it would pop up a year or two after she'd been there and flower, reminding them of her visit. There are many Eryngiums that are perennial. They've got these thistle-like flowers in sort of electric blue. Some of them can be only knee height, others waist or chest height, but they're really useful in gardens that are blasted with sun and where the soil is really well drained. Pop them in between other perennials so they can shoot up. They've got foliage which isn't much to write home about, but those wonderful flowers at the top, spiky and thistle-like, they're absolutely glorious. You can also cut them and dry them and keep them indoors right the way through the winter. I wouldn't be without Eryngiums. They're one of the fireworks of summer. It's really annoying when botanists change the names of plants. Sedum spectabile, the ice plant, that glorious autumn or late summer flowering plant with flat heads of dusky pink flowers, is now Hylotelephium. Park that. Just call it the ice plant and plant it at the front of your beds and borders. It doesn't grow much higher than a foot, and those flowers will be covered with butterflies and bees in late summer and autumn. So you know you're doing your bit for wildlife as well as extending the season of colour in your garden. The ice plant, and I shall still call it sedum. So there. When I was a kid, there were a couple of plants that grew in our gardens in spite of us rather than because of us. One of them was Golden Rod, which was very tall with sort of fluffy yellow flowers. And the other was Montbretia or Crocosmia, about knee-high, iris-like leaves and these great wands of orange flowers. I suppose we rather took it for granted, but I've learnt that it's a lovely flower to have in the garden, and there are many varieties that offer flowers of bright yellow, orange or scarlet. They come in various heights. There's a massive tall one called Lucifer with scarlet flowers that tends to need a bit of support. I prefer the shorter ones that need no support at all, that have got lovely flowers that come out in early summer and often pepper right the way through towards autumn. Lovely plants to have in a border. They act as kind of bright glue for all the other members. Crocosmia, don't be without it. It's good to look for different flower shapes in a border among your perennials, and Achillea has flat heads borne on stems that are about 3 feet high. Gold plate or coronation gold are the two most famous and most enjoyed varieties. They have feathery foliage. They're related to yarrow. They're like yarrow on steroids. Massive great flowers. Fluffy foliage, yellow flat heads that start to mature in midsummer and go through till late summer. Plant them midway towards the back of your border. Sometimes they need staking, but when the sun hits them, and they do love sunshine, they're really quite statuesque and spectacular. They're a great contrast to more feathery, upright plants with these horizontal heads. They give you another angle in your border. Grow them in full sun among other plants and marvel at them when they flower in midsummer.